right. We are live, everybody.
What's going on?
Thanks for those of you watching the replay. Really appreciate it. Got Michael out here. We have a different scenery this time.
Right.
I want to showcase this. I've never seen somebody do a live in the woods. So this is business of benefits. I want Michael to show up his background real quick.
Hey,
I'm
not that far in the woods. Don't be worried about me. I'm not out here camping or anything. I'm coming to you from Columbia, South Carolina. And you guys know I love the nature scene. So this is just, I thought it was better than having bricks and mortar behind me. So just nice little woods. Couple squirrels playing around. I thought it looked better than a brick wall.
It definitely is better than a brick wall. I've never. Now somebody's seen somebody do a live in the woods. Please comment or tag or something. I can't say I've seen that before. So thank you for making this unique.
I won't go into the woods. I promise.
What's the name of the? Are you at liberty to share the name of the place you're going to?
I haven't went there yet, so I'm headed there now. So I won't share their name just in case. I wouldn't want them to get mad or something. I usually get someone's permission before I shoot, and that's another reason why I didn't shoot video outside their community on this live feed.
Yeah.
I would just want their permission, and I was doing this first before I walk about 100 yards over and go into the building. So that's why you get the woods today, and not maybe the community sign or the ED themselves, or maybe sitting inside the building. I just didn't get permission to endorse them, so I thought I would endorse the trees.
Nothing wrong with that. And we got a couple comments. Man, we have.
I gotta say first before you jump on that, man.
Go ahead.
It's an honor to be on here with you. I remember the night we met. Obviously, LinkedIn Atlanta, as you appropriately stated, in the wine line.
Yeah.
And I mean, every person that I met, I got to tell everybody watching, if you've never been to a LinkedIn live meeting, whether it's Atlanta, South Carolina, I don't care, and you finally get to turn, these connections into, so often, Daryl, we talk to people on here and comment and like and private message. And I think sometimes behind the digital footprint, we forget that, like, we're talking to other human beings.
Yep.
And, you hear all this crazy stuff that happens on LinkedIn, and it's unfortunate. But, man, LinkedIn has been so good to me. Just in not just business that I've closed, but I mean, that too, but like the friends that I've met, the professionals, it's been amazing. So to all of you out there, if you're considering, this is a plug for LinkedIn Atlanta, but if you've ever had the opportunity to turn connections into face-to-face, not to be cliché, but I mean, it's life-changing. I mean, I would have never met you probably had it not been LinkedIn, or Suzanne, or Randy, or any of them.
Yep. I know for a fact I probably wouldn't.
She's on here.
Yeah, Carlotta actually is on. She said, "Hi, Daryl." She said, "Hi, Daryl. Good to see y'all together."
So I appreciate the opportunity, man, to get on here live with you. It means a lot to me. I appreciate all the things that you do in the benefits world. And I'm on here to have some fun, share my story, and again, LinkedIn is a powerful tool if you use it correctly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that event I kind of got bullied into. I was kind of almost about to go, and then I met Courtney Herring probably a month before that in person,
right?
And talked to Shanae Murray on the phone, and they were like, "Stop being a punk. Go to the event. You got to go." I was like, "All right, I'll be there."
Yeah, just get here.
Yeah, we had Randon Purdy. She actually works in the senior facility space, so you probably talked to her. She said Michael's awesome. Jen Harris Vincent said very nice. Hey, Chris Rangel, he's a great guy. Guys, follow him. He has a lot of good content and things he's doing out there. He said hi, everyone. Michelle Roberts, she said nope, never. She's never done an in-person LinkedIn. So Michelle, I don't know what state you're in. I'll look at it later.
Michelle, we're coming after her next.
Well, Michelle, working at the. If you're in Georgia, I think it's in April, right?
I'm in Georgia.
No, but the Atlanta one, it's going to be in April, right? The LinkedIn ATL.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so in April, Michelle, I forgot the date. I got to look in my messages, but there's another event coming up in like a month or so.
Yep, same location, I believe.
Perfect. Yeah, she said I never been to LinkedIn Atlanta. Will have to come. Yeah, definitely great event. Diana Parker said, hey. Oh, David Kendrick. David, somebody else. David, we met at LinkedIn Meetup ATL.
Yeah.
Great veteran. So definitely check it. Now, David had a question, actually. We want to start with the questions. David asked, how do I take care of my parents when they're out of state and make sure they're okay? So I know a couple things, but you're the expert here. So kind of share real quick on that so I don't miss this question.
No, great question, David. Man, first of all, there's a ton of apps that can do that for you. Us being Blue Ridge Pharmacy, we partner with communities with pharmaceutical services. So we're not in that arena, but I have a lot of partners on LinkedIn and guys that have been in senior living for a long time that can really help you take care of your parents. Are they in a community? Did he say they were in a community or they're at home?
That David, comment when you hear that. I'll see if he says. He didn't tell me in the question.
That would change the answer. I mean, if they're at home, there's a lot of home devices that you can purchase that have a monthly subscription fee that are very affordable, that you can watch your families either via video or you can watch their movement in a non-video basis that's based on a radar technology.
Okay.
Inside the community, I mean, once you're inside the community, there's tons of options. So, David, if you hear that, comment back, are they at home or a community? And we can kind of finish that.
Perfect. Okay, so that's the first question. Now, I want to ask you, Blue Ridge Pharmacy, why, yes. How? Give us the story of Blue Ridge Pharmacy.
No, so you guys know, man, I've been in senior living now, first 10 years in the Navy, got out, joined senior living 16 years ago, and my career has just been explosive. I've had the opportunity to really do anything I've wanted, opportunities that I've been blessed to have, and obviously my latest one has been VP of Sales at Blue Ridge. And the people that I meet on this journey at the community level that are with what we call big box pharmacies, I typically hear the same pain points. Okay. No one answers the phone. We have to dial a 1-800 number and we sit on hold forever. Obviously, a large part of this business, when you're in the pharmaceutical services industry, we offer medications to residents that live at communities, but we offer so much more. And we just came out with a new tagline that we're going to focus on in 2020. That is, we're so much more than just a pharmacy. We know that people can get their medications from anywhere. And, we're really wanting to tell our story of we're so much more than just a pharmacy. We are pharmaceutical sales. We are pharmaceutical services. We are consultants. We offer pharmacy audits. We offer sales consulting from my background. And so, you're getting this when you sign with Blue Ridge Pharmacy, the real reason of a why. We know that senior living communities have to have a pharmacy, Daryl. We know that, right? It's just state mandated. And you can pick anybody. So what our selling features are, one, you get so much more than just medicine. Yeah. You get some of the best pharmacy consultants in the industry. Our actual company was started by 2 pharmacists. We're privately owned. When you dial our number, it's not an 800 number. A pharmacist actually answers the phone. And if I could tell you today, it'd take forever how many people appreciate that one piece, that a pharmacist answers the phone. And then the third thing is it's a holistic piece of the game that you get. You get all those consulting things I just talked about. We provide my services, which is from a sales lens. I'm a sales guy. I've sold every piece of senior living you can. I used to be a traveling consultant for myself. And you also get my sales consulting. So 90% of the people that we sign with that say, hey, we want to partner with Blue Ridge Pharmacy, they're struggling in occupancy. They're struggling in leads. They're struggling with their operations. And we have the manpower and the team that can help you on all those levels. And people are loving it.
Awesome. Oh, and David answered that question real quick. He said they're getting ready to retire at home.
At home. Okay, David, there is a company that launched a couple of months ago called Inde, INDE. And they are out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and they will soon be available on the retail space. I would wait on that. And Inde is a remarkable tool. You'll be able to put a couple of little frames. They're about the size of a picture frame in every room of your parents' home. And it's not video generated. It works off of a radar feed. and you'll be able to see their movement. You'll be able to tell, are they up? Are they moving? Have they fallen? And you can set the escalation to either call you, text you. If it calls you and you don't answer, it'll call someone else. And the purchase price is completely affordable. But I would check that out. I would search for Indy on Google and go ahead and start talking to those guys. That's my best recommendation if they're retiring at home.
Well, how you spell it? You said INDEE?
No, INDE.
INDE.
Yep.
Okay, I'm putting it in the comments.
Yeah, INDE. Out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
So, guys, take a look at that. And I also tagged another person, Jeffrey Hill. He runs a remote home check company for similar products.
Yeah, Jeffrey. I thought you'd bring up Jeffrey. Absolutely.
He's a great resource. He's a Georgia guy, so you can just call him directly as well. So, senior living is a big space. I mean, there's more and more people retiring every day. I forgot the statistics, but what's the number of aging population? Do you know that stat off the top of your head?
Man, I don't on the top of my head. And what people know, you hear all this talk about this senior tsunami that's coming. We've been serving the greatest generation, and now we have the World War II, and then we have the baby boomers. That's the hot word right now. We haven't even really begun to experience yet, in my opinion, the baby boomers' influence. I mean, they're still in their 70s, early 70s. So the face of senior living is changing, and there's a lot of people who have figured that out, and then there's people who haven't figured that out. And senior living changes so fast. Of what do people want? What type of building do they want? What type of monthly service fee can they afford? And the hot thing right now that everyone's trying to figure out is there's quickly about to be this middle market of senior living has historically marketed to only in a certain community, Daryl, the top 10% could only afford it.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people out there who are looking for ways to do it differently, because what I know, and you coming from the insurance field, there's a lot of people in this country that can't afford $3,000 a month to live in a senior living community. $4,000 a month, $5,000, $6,000. And you got people, if you guys are on this feed and you want to Google Katie Davis with Care Pods, that's another one, Dennis, that could totally rock your parents when they retire. Care Pods is a creative way to provide people affordable care at home. And again, I'm not selling against senior living. I'm selling that we need choices. There's always going to be that top 2% that can afford X amount. There'll always be that top 5%, top 10%, top 20%. But then there'll always be that middle market and under. Until now, we've forgotten those people, Daryl, and they've just been left to, sit in their house and eat little Debbie cakes. And, I think, I've met with those people that, I've done home visits where you walk in and you see Mrs. Smith sitting in her recliner and clothing that looks like she's had on for 2 weeks, surrounded by little Debbie cakes and withering away. Yeah. And those people deserve our love as well. Again, I'm encouraged by the amount of people, including myself, who have been operators before. How do we service people? We have all these buildings that we need people in, and those people exist. But how do we service people that what we know is the state can't do it, right? Right. We know that if you're going to depend on the state, that is not a plan.
Correct.
And again, I applaud the people that are using their creative abilities to find ways to serve everybody. Senior living should be, up until recent, it's been very exclusive. That's my opinion. And I think it should be inclusive. And we figure out a way to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, I went through this with my my god grandfather. He was actually the fourth African American to play in the PGA before. And through a series of bad decisions, he had to be in a state facility for his senior care. And at one point, he was that 1%, and then he didn't do the right decision and ended up in being the 99%. But he just hated it. He's like, I just can't stand being here. So I definitely agree with you in that regard. And we had Catherine Fasanella. She said, how do you know the meds that seniors taking are taken at the right time? and that they're not taking more than they should?
Oh, great question. So we have, every pharmaceutical company that sells pharmacy services typically has some sort of what we call an EMAR. It stands for an electronic medication administration record. And so when that medication is given to a resident, there's an electronic record, date, time, and stamp that medication was given. Obviously we monitor that through our consulting services. The staff at the community level monitors that, and obviously the state will come in and inspect that. So you have multiple layers of inspection to ensure, first of all, that the resident received the right medicine, they received it at the right time, and they received the right dosage. And our teams are trained to even ensure, most residents will take the medication because they're within their faculties to do so. We do have others that we have to ensure that, did you take that medication? And there's ways that our teams have trained to do that. So, there's a lot of layers there. It's a great question. I get that question a lot from families. Again, there's a digital system. When you pull that medication out, and I'm speaking about our system now, we have several different what we call dispensing opportunities, where communities can get their meds that arrive in different types of formats. Typically, one of the ones I like, the meds are in a pouch, and I won't give our name away, but you pull it out, there's a UPC for each med, and it automatically date and time stamps that medication and that it was given. And what we want to do as Blue Ridge Pharmacy, there's two things especially that we try to do with our medication dispensing. Accuracy is number one. If we can ensure that 100% of the medication is given on time to the right resident in the right dose, we feel that we have succeeded. And then the second thing that we really try and do, and I feel that we've mastered, is making that process efficient.
Okay.
I meet with a lot of people. I met with a team last week that their morning medication pass takes over 3 hours. And I met with the nurses as they're in tears, right? Saying all we can do is pass medication the whole entire first part of our shift. So when we come in and we implement our systems, we give a lot of that time back, but without cutting accuracy. And, I know people that compete with us, that efficiency is the way that they focus. But if accuracy suffers, you can throw efficiency out the window.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Because when you think about this, I think I put in the image is more than a sale. With all the information you're dealing with people's health, their medications, their family, and all that. So for you, what made it more than a sale for you? Because I think senior care can easily be made into a bad thing because somebody can do it just for money, and like that 1% you mentioned.
Oh man, And you know what? When I first started in this 16 years ago, it was about that for me. It was how many people can I sell? Because again, my salary was I was commissioned, right? I was commissioned on it, and not that commission's a bad thing, but when I first started in this, man, it was sales. I don't care about a relationship. It was as transactional as it could be. And as I have matured as a person, I entered senior living, man, right out of the Navy. I didn't know what I was doing, right? And I made a lot of dumb decisions early in my career. And now that I have matured and had different levels of responsibility and been at the C-suite level and operations level with lots of people under you, now I understand that sales, period, not just senior living, but so many levels of sales, Daryl, it's all about relationships. And senior living has finally caught up to that. Senior living, to me and to a lot of folks you'll hear, is the collision of healthcare and hospitality colliding. And we're the custodians of that collision. And, probably, I don't know, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe the light came on in my head that, this is not transactional. This is about investing in people's lives. And when you do that and you care about people, the sale comes naturally. And when I go and train sales teams, that's what we talk about. How a lot of people don't know how to do that because they're so focused on getting a move in, making someone sign the contract, up,
Mhm.
up. If you took a tour, it's time to sign now. And I think with a lot of products that we purchase, if people would focus on relationships, the close is easy
Yeah.
because they buy you.
Yep. I agree a
So
million percent.
that's the truth, and that's what I do even with Blue Ridge, man. You again, I said this on the beginning of this call. You can buy your meds from anywhere. There's 100 pharmacy services out there that do what we do, but I want you to fall in love with me. I want to build a relationship. I want you to know that I care about you as a client, and you don't even become a client. You become my partner,
Yeah.
and we invest in every community that we work with, and we want you to know that it is a partnership. It's not about a sale. It is a relationship. You succeed if we succeed, and we succeed if you succeed. And that's just how I do my business.
That makes sense. I think that's kind of what separates when you talk about champions all the time is that champions understand the long game of,
Right.
yes, I didn't get a sale right now, but I want you to think about me long term. And when you need something, I'm there. I think that's a problem on LinkedIn. I did a video recently about the DM pitch, the people that connect
Yep,
with you.
I
And
remember that.
hey, we just want to connect and sell you everything we have right now. And that's a fallacy, I think, in sales that people fall in love with that, oh, the sales guy is just about money. But
Yep.
that's the bad sales guy.
And like you, I get those every day. Like you, I will connect with someone, and in 30 seconds, I get this 9-paragraph private message that there's no way I could ever read, and you're selling me your product. And I've never done that.
Yeah.
Even on LinkedIn, man, it's about and we talked about it. Turning these connections into real life humans.
Yep.
It's about relationships, and it's not about even how do I leverage that relationship to my benefit. And that's why I started that entire really soapbox for me a year ago. Get up and play the next play. We are going to fail in sales and in any service, any job, as a husband, as a wife, as a brother, father, whatever. You are going to fail. We know that. You and I have talked about it.
Yep.
What makes the difference is how you get up and play the next play. And then the whole playing like a champion. Champions understand hard work. They understand how to lose like a man and how to lose humbly. And they understand how to win humbly. And that's what my whole play like a champion mantra really is. Get up and play the next play and play like a champion. And part of that is building relationships.
Yeah, it looks like hard work to people. I always tell my team, success is dressed up like hard work. That's just how it is.
Absolutely.
And I think LinkedIn, social media, we see the wins all the time, but people don't understand that, we're messaging people just about life sometimes. Like I'll send every new connection a voice message, just saying, what do you find valuable about LinkedIn? Just tell me what you think about LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Nothing about a sale, nothing about what I do. Just let me just talk to you as a person. And if we can get along, great. If we don't get along, that's fine. At least we figured it out before I tried to sell you something and look like a jerk.
I can honestly say I've received more leads and closed more deals off this platform when I didn't try to sell them. When I call it curiously curious.
Yeah.
When I am curiously curious about you as a person, the business comes.
Yeah, and especially if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you wouldn't bring it up. Neither one of you would.
Exactly. So,
David asked the question. He said, what types of background checks do employees in senior living facilities go through? Do they need any special education or training?
Hey, great example. On the education piece, David, it really depends on, what position you're seeking. A lot of the clinical positions, they require license. The administrator roles require state licenses. The executive director roles require license. Most senior living communities are going to look for a 4-year degree, 2-year degree at a minimum. A lot of the direct care aides, they take license. It just depends on state to state. Whatever state you're in, you can Google that. Most states have a website directed totally to senior care. When I was operating buildings, all of my employees received a full background check, whether it was the housekeeper, the chef, myself. And I think we're probably 100% across the industry now. Every employee receives a full background check. It's just, you just can't risk that.
Yeah. So would you say when somebody's looking for a facility for their parents or uncle, whoever, they should look for that to make sure they have background checks?
Yeah, you can ask that question. Again, I'm 100% confident that they're going to tell you they do it and execute a background check on everyone. 10 years ago, that was not the case. I would tell you definitely to ask that question.
Yeah.
But senior living has caught up to that, and obviously it's society being what it is. I think we're probably at 100%. I mean, there's communities that even go the extra mile that I work with. They do background checks on their residents.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, so it just depends on the owner operator and the community, but for sure, I think we're probably 100% that they're doing them on the employees.
Okay, and Chris Wrangle had a comment. He's 10 minutes away from the Villages in Florida, which is the fastest growing 55 plus community in the world. I know many people living there used to have an EMT right after high school. What is something preliminary I could share with them that they could consider as they may be approaching a point in life where they need to consider a senior living facility? So he's in the area. A lot of senior living places are there. He has friends that are, getting to that point that are older. What should they consider as they're kind of looking at a senior care facility?
It depends. Again, it depends on really what they're looking for, where they are in life. Because again, there's really four what I would call levels, Daryl, right? And I hope this answers their question of what we can call senior living. You have 55 plus, which is kind of a lifestyle that certain groups are looking for. It's an early version of what we would call independent living.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have independent living, which is truly hosted at that point by a senior living community. The average age across the U.S. in independent living right now is probably pushing 70, 72, 75 years old. Obviously, someone that's 55, they're not looking for a true independent living community because their ages wouldn't match.
Yeah.
Right? People want to go and be surrounded by people of like ability and like mind. So you have a 55 plus, you have what's called independent living, which is, again, that average age I just shared. And then you have more care, which is called assisted living. And then we have memory care in most communities. And then we have, obviously, skilled nursing, which is around the clock, very heavy acuity, heavy hands-on care. So that's a very broad question to answer, because without knowing, again, this is where the relationships come in. Without knowing who you are, what you like to do, how old you are, what stage of life you're in, that determines what I would recommend.
Perfect. Awesome. And it's good that you're sharing this with people, because I know you do a lot of fun things on LinkedIn with your things from the kids. I know you posted something with something you did with the science class at one point or something like that with water.
Yeah, I did. That was a fun one.
Yeah, so good you share all that fun. So this is just good to get the knowledge behind it to kind of help understand it. So
sure.
You're in South Carolina most of the time. What's the senior living facility, like senior living scene, like in the South versus other places? Is it any different, you think, or better, worse? Because I know Florida's like a haven for retirement, but kind of share your thoughts.
Florida's a haven. The South is a haven. I think it's just weather driven, to be honest. I was in Michigan like a month ago, and the senior living in Michigan's the same but different. A lot of times, again, it depends. It's just driven by the market, Daryl, to be honest, because you may have, let's take my hometown in Greenville. We have very, very exclusive senior living communities that truly are marketing to the top 0.5% of the only people in Greenville that can afford it. Nothing wrong with that, because again, they have a niche. And then we have all the way down to, communities that are open to anyone. I think what drives that, again, it's market availability. It's the cost of living. I know, South Carolina has a pretty low cost of living in comparison to a California or New York or Virginia, DC, even, Minnesota, Michigan. So it really is just, I think a lot of seniors migrate south, obviously, because of weather. And I think their buying power is larger.
Mm-hmm. And then Chris also said, so it would benefit them to learn about the different types of care available at the start. So
absolutely. I think if I could start my own company and it would work, and this isn't me doing that, but I think there's something out there, and AARP does it, but there's a stigma to reaching out to that, I think. But
Yeah.
people don't know what to look for. And, at 55 or 60, 65, 70, people don't know what they don't know. And I don't think we don't do a really good job at educating folks on what are the different levels of senior living. What's a 55 plus community? What do I get? Is it a deeded transaction? Do I actually buy the home? Is it rental only? And there's so much out there in senior living options that confuse a lot of people. Even in just what we called independent living, there's rental only options. There's what we call a 90% refundability, where there's a large buy-in. I mean, it's a lot of education. And again, I would love to start a senior living university where folks at whatever age, adult children, guys like me and you who have retiring parents, could sign up for a class for a couple bucks to say, hey, I'm gonna teach you everything there is to know about senior living before you sign the contract and it's too late.
Well, that's going to be super helpful. Cause I mean, in my world, I'm talking about insurance, and only less than 14% of people understand insurance. So senior living, I definitely lean on you for information. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I think it's important.
I lean on you for insurance, man. I don't even know, I didn't even know how to figure out what the deductible meant. And I'm a smart guy, right? And when you get, think about it. When you get your company tells you in December, I'm not referencing Blue Ridge. This is just historical. Hey, we're changing health plans. It's December, and we're going to start with a new plan in January. And you have a catastrophic plan, and you have a high deductible, and you have a low deductible. I'm like, I don't know what to pick. And now I'm going to let you answer a question on this one. Like, insurance is a gamble, right? Because you don't know.
Yeah. It definitely is. I mean, that's why for me, when I look at health insurance, I'm honestly looking at what's the lowest cost you can get where you get care. So
correct.
A formula I always say is high deductible and high premium doesn't make sense. So if you're going to get a $5,000 deductible and pay $1,000 a month, that's a ripoff. If you're going to get a $5,000 deductible and pay $200 a month, that's a more feasible representation. But It is a gamble. But I always say have a plan, not a plea. I met a guy at an account recently that he had a accident plan that he had for years, and he dropped it 1 year. Probably 6 months later, he said, I got airlifted to a hospital because I got in a bad car accident. I was out of work for a year. So now he's like, I'm never dropping that ever again because I lost that gamble. I literally 3 months before the car accident, he said, I haven't used it. I don't need it.
Ooh, so now he might not never need it again.
He might not, but it's that gamble. But we're talking policies for like $20 a month, $30 a month. They're not crazy expensive. So it is a gamble, but I want to be on the right side. I always joke about our cancer plans. I say, if I pay for a cancer plan for 100 years and never get cancer, I'm happy with that. Because I'd rather not get cancer.
You're happy because you didn't get cancer.
Yeah, I don't want to have to use it. Like, if I don't ever use this, I'm cool with that. If me forking this money out means I don't get it, fine. That's all. I'm good with that.
No, I agree with that, man. I have a personal friend that had a cancer plan and started to cancel it. And I told her, listen, I don't sell insurance, but you have such a great plan. Don't cancel it. And she just finished battling cancer, and that plan saved her life.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she's cancer free now. But I told her literally just yesterday, imagine if you didn't have that plan.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. There's stories that people, I don't need it. It'll never happen to me. But I mean, in the senior living space where you're in, a lot of those people didn't expect to end up in senior care. They thought, I'm going to be at home forever. I'm always going to be able to take care of myself. So kind of talk.
Yeah, and that's a good segue into even to the folks that are watching this that are even my age, your age. I'm 45. I see seniors that move into communities that have long-term care insurance, and I see seniors that don't. I can tell you the ones that are living their best life are the ones that have long-term care insurance because they're not worried about the money. And so I know guys like us at our age, we're not thinking about long-term care insurance, but if I could tell the folks that's listening to this feed anything outside of senior living, you should check into long-term care insurance. I have one because it's pennies at this age.
And
to have it. I can promise you when you get 70, 75 and you're looking at senior living in 2050, 2040, you're gonna love it that you have that John Hancock policy or wherever it came from.
Yeah.
Again, we you don't know you need it until you need it, and then if you go to get a long-term care policy at 65,
you can't really
afford it.
Yeah, that's Jeff Bezos kind of stuff. You can't do that. Melissa, hey Melissa, thanks for jumping on. Melissa said a person as young as 18 years old can join AARP now. I am friends with the Atlanta AARP Veteran Program Director. We're heavily getting the word out to the military veteran community. So David, as a veteran, get with Melissa, talk about that program. And everybody, this is just awareness. I think
That's
people
awesome.
just don't know.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's news to me. So thank you, Melissa, for sharing that. There's just so many things out there that's what we do these broadcasts to kind of share information.
Yeah, people helping people.
Yeah, thank you. So kind of getting out of here, I know you got to get to walk into your client right now. What would you say is the thing you want to leave the people with about Blue Ridge Pharmacy right now as they're kind of going about their day?
Man, if I had to leave on it with a commercial basis, I would say, if you're in senior living and you're an operator or you're an investor or you're an owner operator, and you're in the states that we serve, which are Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, you should definitely take a look at Blue Ridge Pharmacy. I know 3 things that we can do if you're in the states that we operate. We can save you money.
Mm-hmm.
No one will offer better service than we do. And you get what I call a holistic contract. So you're going to get pharmacy, you're going to get sales, you're going to get operations, and you're really going to get people that care about you. And we will, and I make a joke about this, but I hear it every day, Daryl. We will answer the phone.
Well, I got a question for you. Do you work with anything like home insteads or those, the home nursing companies?
No, that's a great one. Obviously, we work with senior living communities. We work, it's kind of a bad word to say on here, but we work with long-term care, skilled nursing. A lot of people call those nursing homes. We work with nursing homes, and we work with home care agencies. We have a whole entire retail side that's another piece about us that we serve. If you have an independent living component on your campus, we can serve them as well through our retail side. We just signed, I just brought on a very large home care group in South Carolina, where Blue Ridge ships all of their patient load, very strategically packaged medication to their homes, so that when the caregiver comes in, they can quickly assess, have you taken your meds or not? And they're loving it.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I might have some people to introduce you to if you're working with people in that space.
Sure. Love to.
Well, everybody, thanks again for jumping on Business of Benefits. It's been another fun time with Michael in the Woods.
Yes, thank you.
First time doing Live in the Woods. I love it.
Live in the Woods. It's like Survivor. What's that show called? Alone in the Woods or whatever.
Naked in the Woods or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not naked, but I'm in the woods.
All right, y'all. Well, definitely thanks for watching the replay, and then share it with anybody you think can find value from this.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate it.